How does the Huawei Mate 9 stack up against the brand new S8 and S8 Plus? That's what this video is all about. The Mate 9 has its dual cameras, fingerprint scanners, 6-inch display. It is a very good looking device, very capable and very affordable. Now you can pick one up on 3. The S8s will be a fair bit more expensive, but the S8s look a fair bit better too. While the Mate 9 has more traditional styling, the S8s have a longer display and much less bezel going on. You can also expect a curved glass back as opposed to a metal back, so they feel a little bit richer in the hand. 6 inches of screen on the Mate 9, but it feels bigger than both the S8 and the S8 Plus. That's even though the S8 Plus has a 6.2 inch display. The regular S8 has a 5.8 inch display, and they are Quad HD or better than Quad HD resolution and AMOLED versus the IPS Full HD panels. So ultimately, as far as the designs and screens go, the S8s do steal ahead. Though I do really like how flat the Mate 9 corners are, it's easy to grip, and this ships with a case as well, which is a nice touch. Other design highlights include USB ports across both and USB Type-Cs, though you have stereo speakers on the Mate 9 versus a mono speaker on the Samsung Galaxy S8s. Inside the screens, you've got Android across both, Emotion UI, which is quite customized version of Android, versus Samsung's also quite customized version of Android. Introducing Bixby on the S8s, it's a voice assistant, which is also an assistant across other elements. It reads your text messages, can look at your photos, you can point your camera at an item and it will take you to the Amazon page. Unfortunately, Bixby isn't available in the UK just yet, and we'll have to wait for that. The Mate 9 in the US, however, doesn't come empty-handed. It has Alexa, though we don't have that in the UK. So both devices have their regional advantages when it comes to voice assistants, but one thing they also both have is Google Now, and I personally am a big fan, so I'll be defaulting to that one every single time. Other key highlights: applications tray on both devices, optional through the settings on the Huawei Mate 9. You've got home screens you can populate with widgets and shortcuts. Notifications, 2-tier pull down, and both perform very nice and fast, and that is because of the power inside. Under the hood of the Mate 9, you've got a Kirin 960 with 4 GB of RAM, and that is versus a Snapdragon 835 or an Exynos 10 nanometer chipset. And it's going to be region dependent which one you will get inside your device. Now, when it comes to the cameras, you've got an 8 megapixel camera and a 20 megapixel rear camera, as well as a 12 megapixel camera on the Mate 9. The rear camera setup allows perspective information to be caught in order to take pictures with cool background blur effects and all that jazz. The Samsung Galaxy S8s are much more traditional setups, 1 camera around the back instead of 2, and an optical image stabilization across both devices as well. What's really cool about the S8 is that the camera has loads and loads of Snapchat type filters, so it's a lot of fun, which kind of compensates for the fact it doesn't have those background defocus effects of the Mate 9. Now, when it comes to the storage, you've got 64 gig as standard across both devices as well. The only other real key differentiator is going to be that battery, and it's a 4000 milliamp cell on the Mate 9, which is really nice. 6-inch display, lasts a comfortable day, and that's compared to a 3500 milliamp cell inside the S8 Plus, in spite of its bigger display, which doesn't fill me with as much confidence as the Mate 9, and a 3000 milliamp cell inside the 5.8 inch Galaxy S8. Again, doesn't fill me with a huge amount of confidence, making the Mate 9 probably out of all of them my battery champ. But it really is going to come down to how economical those processors are, that Exynos and the Snapdragon 835 region dependent, and of course how much optimization has gone on under the hood. There are other cool features across both. Emotion UI has some nice tweaks, and the Samsung's S8 series supports something called DeX, which is a desktop kind of service, so you can kind of like Continuum, dock your phone and turn it into a whole workstation. Check out my hands-on video to find out more about the Samsung Galaxy S8, and you can see my review of the Huawei Mate 9 on the channel as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, click that thumbs up button. If you like the channel, subscribe. It's how you'll stay on top of everything that we do. Thanks for watching BTECT.